it's going to be a close vote. If anybody would like to go inside and tell them what the union means to them, or whether they need a union. If you don't have a union, I would appreciate that. We all get 3 minutes before the legislators. Finally, I'd like to introduce to you the real star of the show here today, and that's Kate Rofenbrenner. Kate is the Director of Education Research at Cornell University School of Labor, Industrial and Labor Relations. Kate?
Thank you. It's great to be here. So we're here today because our labor law system is broken. It is fundamentally broken. It's been broken for 20 years, but now it is broken more than it ever has been broken before. Today, when workers go to organize, they are faced with threats, interrogation, surveillance, harassment, discharge, and the removal of benefits and rights they have had in the workplace. And it cannot be fixed with tinkering around the edges. It can only be fixed with wholesale labor law reform.
Yeah.
We are told that the Employee Free Choice Act will take away the secret ballot. There is no such thing as a secret ballot in America's workplace. Under our labor law today, when workers go to vote, the employer knows exactly which way they're going to vote. The employer knows that because even before the campaign starts, the employer has used screening and surveillance and supervisor one-on-ones to find out which way they're going to vote. The employer has threatened them and interrogated them to find out which way they're going to vote. The employer has harassed them and fired workers who have not voted and have not told them they're going to vote the way they want them to vote. And what penalties the employer get when they violate the law in that way? The worst penalty an employer can get is be required to pay back pay minus whatever money the workers owned on another job, or a piece of paper, a posting that says, I have interrogated workers, I have threatened workers, I have harassed workers. That's the worst penalty employers get under our law. And if the union does by chance win and the employer refuses to bargain, the worst penalty an employer gets is a piece of paper that says, I should bargain. That's the law that we now have. But that's not what the law is intended to do. The Employee Free Choice Act will require employers to allow workers to just sign a card and say, I want a union, and then the employer will have to recognize the union if the majority of workers want a union. The Employee Free Choice Act will require employers to engage in mediation and arbitration for a first contract if the workers have won a card check or won an election and want to move forward towards a first contract. The Employee Free Choice Act will put penalties, punitive damages, and finally have real penalties if employers violate the law. But we can't get the Employee Free Choice Act just by lobbying. We won't get the Employee Free Choice Act just by trying to push one or two senators. We're only going to get it if we do actually real grassroots organizing throughout the country, if we push and organize in coalitions with NGOs and our other allies, and we work with independent voters and unorganized workers and young voters, and we show senators and congresspeople all over the country that we're not going to go away. It's not going to be easy fight. It's not going to happen in 2 months just by asking nicely. It's going to take unions and unorganized workers working together really hard to fight hard. This is not going to be easy fight. We don't have this in the bag. You're all going to have to work really hard if you want to get this. So I urge you to get out there and fight for this. This is something that we need really badly. Without workers having the right to organize, we don't have a democracy in this country. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Pete Myers. I'm with the Tompkins County Workers Center. Thank you everybody for showing up today. I just counted a little bit over 100 people here, so this is quite an awesome turnout today.
Yeah, Pete!
And it's great to see such a mixture of Unionized and non-unionized workers. There's way too many non-unionized workers in this country. Right now, about 87%, as many of you know. Just to let you know, the Workers Center is a community organization that is dedicated to organizing with workers, helping to get them into unions when possible, but also organizing people on a community level. I like to call it community union. We started the Workers' Rights Hotline, which is where people can call if they have problems at the workplace. About 6 years ago, we've had close to 1,200 cases in those 6 years. Every time that a worker calls the Workers Center, we ask if they have a union, because if they had a union, that would be a much more powerful advocate for them in the workplace than, unfortunately, we are able to be. However, many of those workers, as you can imagine, don't have unions. So we give them the range of options, which are not a lot. If it's a discrimination case, gender, age discrimination, race, then we'll refer them to the Human Rights Commission or to the Department of Labor. But clearly, these workers would have many more rights if they had a union in their workplace. Very quick story that I have. When we were targeting a big box store last year, one of the world's biggest profiteers, Walmart, we had a worker stop by our table and said, "Walmart pay a living wage." And this young woman basically said, "I make $7 an hour. That's all I deserve." So I had a half an hour conversation with this woman, and after, she kind of thought about it, and a month later stopped by and said she had quit the job to find a higher paying job. And for me, what that story illustrated is, just like Kate said, we've really got to be organizing at the grassroots level. Each one of us need to reach out to people, especially those who are not in unions, especially those who are not part of community organizations, and encourage them to think about, really organizing for themselves. It's really about concerted action, concerted activity, and it's great to see that even tonight we're able to get out this many people. It's very apparent that workers are afraid to stand up and assert their rights, but we're here to help them do that. And I ask you to encourage the county legislature to pass this resolution, make a strong statement on behalf of us, the residents of Tompkins County. And if you have not signed an Employee Free Choice Act card, we've got a couple people circulating throughout the crowd. I just ask you to consider doing that. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you an incredible ex-assembly person of Tompkins County, Marty Luster.
Thank you. From now on, we do important things only after May 15th and it warms up. So don't let anything terrible happen until May 15th. I want to speak to you very, very briefly and not repeat a lot of what has been said already. But I want to speak to you on behalf of the Ithaca local of the Democratic Socialists of America. DSA strongly supports the Employee Free Choice Act, strongly supports the resolution that's going before the county legislature this evening, and strongly supports organized labor throughout this region and throughout the entire nation. I want to say just a few words directly to those workers in Tompkins County who do not belong to unions, who have not had the experience, who perhaps may not understand why belonging to a union is important. New York is what is called a fire at will state, which means that an employer can fire you from your position for no reason at all. If you belong to a union and that union negotiates a contract on your behalf, the terms and conditions of your employment are set down in stone. And should that contract be violated, there are remedies in the law. And you can't be fired at will. And you can't be given assignments that you didn't expect. And you can't be told to work overtime if you don't want to work overtime, unless the contract agrees to that. And you can't have reductions in your salary, and you can't have your pension changed. So that's why, those are a few of the reasons why it's important for people in this area, in this region, to consider the benefits of joining a union, of organizing your workplace, of going out there and talking to your colleagues at work and discussing the benefits of having a union. The unions are here, the Workers Center is here to help you get started. There's all kinds of support for unionization activities in this region, and I hope you'll take advantage of it. I also hope you'll check out DSA. Take a look at our website, dsausa.org. Find out about Democratic Socialists of America. And if it sounds intriguing to you, give us a call. We'll get you to meetings, we'll get you involved, and we'll get you to join our organization as well. Thank you.